welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a big one. It is one that I put out there that I got this thing and a lot of people were very interested, so I made sure to bring my sister along. Sorry,
Hi.
You can hear my dog jingling in the background. See, I brought her along, so I've got somebody else to bounce off what happened and the knowledge, so it's not just coming from me. And I'm just gonna put it out there. I love, no matter where you come from, I love you, thank you for watching, but this video is heavily aimed for my Australian audience because there is nobody else giving this sort of information out there. I wish there was. I wish it wasn't just me. So feel free to make videos, Australians, because I wish there was more, but there really isn't. And that is why I got such a big interest in it, because I'm Australian and they want to know how it was possible for Australians. So I'm sorry if I keep referring to that and if you're not from Australia, but that is just why. There is legitimately, I don't think anybody else on YouTube. I have tried looking for other Aussie vloggers. There are some that do vlogs, but they don't do these sorts of ones, like where they share information. If you do know of any, please leave them below. I really want to go check them out, connect with my fellow Australians out there, because there's not many of us. But yeah, I just want to put that out there to begin with. This is very heavily aimed towards my fellow Aussies out there. As you could read from the title, if you didn't know, if you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, we became DVC members. I say we. I think a lot of people maybe thought it was just me.
Yeah.
But no, it's a big we. We became DVC members. Now, if you don't know what that is, it is Disney Vacation Club. That is what DVC stands for. It is essentially a timeshare. It's the easiest way to explain it. Most people know what a timeshare is. It is a Disney timeshare that allows you to stay at the DVC resorts at Walt Disney World. It's not for free because you're paying for it, but like at a very low rate if you calculate it out. You stay at the deluxe resorts, you're part of this club, you get benefits. There's a lot into it, but that's just a really brief, small explanation. So if you're sitting here wondering, what is DVC? Essentially, it is Disney's timeshare.
Yeah, the easiest way to explain it is that it is a timeshare, but we'll probably get more into it, is probably different. Disney do their timeshare very different to, I think, a traditional timeshare.
Yeah.
So
not that I know how a traditional timeshare works.
Yeah, I don't really know
I've
how it
never
works.
been part of one.
But I've just heard a lot of other people that we've like talked to or seen on YouTube or just read things about that that probably do know more about normal timeshares, and they said that the Disney one is very different. Like it runs
it just
very
works differently.
Yeah.
But essentially it's the same
But
thing.
it's
You're paying up front
for your vacation.
for your vacations for the next however many amount of years. So we've got a whole lot of stuff down here. Not lying, I've got a whole lot of questions that a whole lot of people wanted me to answer. I've got a binder here with documentation that we got when we were there, and I'm just gonna run through how this happened. I'm gonna try and cover as much as I can without making this video go for like an hour or two. So let's get started. How did this happen? Now, my sister and I have been researching DVC for the longest time, and we kept saying it's not worth it for us. We come from Australia. It's not worth. Little did we know, we never actually figured out figures. We just looked at it and went
like, we would never be able to afford it.
Never be able to use
if
it.
we, you know, won lotto. Like it was like a dream thing. Like it was like we never actually thought it would be possible.
Yeah, it was like if we win lotto, we're flying to America and buying DVC, but that was the only way it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
So we wanted to do the tour this time because we're going to be brutally honest. The only reason we wanted to do the tour was you get a free gift card. So we got $150.
$150 US.
It changes depending on who you get. So I can't say that's exactly what you're going to get. We got $75 per adult, but they can only give it to 2, even though 4 adults were in the tour, so they can only do it for 2. I think most people are a couple.
Our mum and dad came with us, obviously, because they came on our last trip. But
so
that's what we
wanted the gift card, and we wanted the free fast passes that you could use anywhere, and we got 4 each. You couldn't use it for the big major rides, but like we did Space Mountain 3 times in a row.
At Magic, it's probably worth it most.
It's so worth it at Magic.
All the rides.
You just can't do 7 Dwarfs.
No.
No, they were our other fast passes that we got for free. You're getting confused.
Oh, okay,
you can't do 7 Dwarfs, and maybe even Peter. But anyway, we used it for 3 times, like for Space Mountain for 3 times in a row. It was the greatest thing in life. That is legit why we went to this tour. And also, I just wanted to check and see what the rooms look like. I wanted to see what a Disney room looked like with a kitchen and how big the space was and all this sort of stuff. So that was the reason why we went into this tour. We went in just really going, we want the free stuff. So we booked a tour, which is a note I didn't realize, but I think it's very rare you rock up and go, I want to do a tour now. They'll be like, we can't fit you in now.
Yeah.
You've actually got to book in for maybe a few days in advance or like for the next day or whatnot. So if you do want to do a tour, go find one of those desks. They are in all deluxe resorts. They're in the parks. They're at Disney Springs.
There's some at other, I swear I saw a desk like at Art of Animation.
You might have.
Like,
there might be people there, but I just know predominantly the deluxe resorts because they are DVC.
Yeah.
A majority of them. Or give them a call and sort out a time if you want to do the tour. And I recommend doing the tour because you get to see stuff. If you go to the actual preview center, I'm fairly sure you get like ice cream and Coke, and like we got sweet, we got soft drink and whatnot. But
so they will sort
really
of
cool.
ask you where you want to go, and I don't think you need to necessarily book before your trip because we didn't.
No.
We just booked, but then again we went for 2 weeks, so like we just. A few days in, we found a stand and started talking to someone, and we just ended up booking with him for like that weekend or something like that in like a few days. When you go to the person, so we actually, ours was in Epcot, like I think it was like in between Futureland and the World Showcase, like that walkway, there was a stand there, and we were actually just buying stuff at the cart next door. And
it was actually our dad that got started talking to him.
Yeah, our dad started talking to the guy, and since we were already planning on doing a tour, we're like, oh, we're actually looking at doing a tour, and he's like,
so we booked the tour in, and we could pick if we where we wanted to go, and we said, look, my sister's really interested in Wilderness Lodge. Just as a resort to stay at. So it was really, we just wanted to go because we wanted to check out the rooms at Wilderness Lodge. So that was where we went. But majority of people will probably go to the preview center out at Saratoga.
Saratoga, which I think the preview rooms they're showing is Riviera, and it's either Aulani or Copper Creek.
Yeah, but they change all the time. So that is what you do. You got to book a tour. So we went and did the tour. We had the best guide ever, or guide agent. I don't know what you want to call him. His name was Jason.
Yeah, it's your guide.
Is your guide? Okay, I wasn't too sure if you call him like an agent or he was amazing.
I love Jason.
He was pretty much. We went in and. Not so much me, I do admit, I do know about DVC, but this one, being a uni bum, has all the time off in the world. She has been watching, which I highly recommend. If you even have a flicker of a thought of, oh, DVC might be for me, or I'm slightly interested, go and watch the DVC show that the Diz do with Pete. It is amazing. It explains everything, and that is what she did. So we went in with a lot of knowledge.
They have weekly shows, so he'll post an episode every week, and it's on heaps of different topics. So you do learn a lot. That's where I learned a lot of things before going in. And I would recommend that if you're planning, like especially if you're Australian and you're going on a trip, you know, you've planned a trip already, and you're like, oh, maybe we should do a tour. I would do some research before going into the tour. I think it was good that we did have some research, because I don't know if they would do this to people, because I've heard that the Disney guides are generally not like this.
They're not pushy.
Like the salespeople aren't mean or like pushy or anything like that. But like he couldn't sort of like trick us into anything because we had so much knowledge. Like he couldn't like one up us sort of.
So we went in with Jason, and I think he originally thought we were members.
Yeah.
And he figured out that we were renting points. He figured out the time of year we're renting points. He figured out that we have all this knowledge. He figured out that we've gone for the past 3 years. We plan to go for the next 2 years. And he just turned around and looked at us and said,
why do you not
Why are you not a DVC member? And in my head I was like, well, because it's too much money. Like I can't afford it. But then when we sat down and we figured out in Australian dollars, let's average it out. Average it out, $6,000 for the two of us for accommodation every year.
Yeah.
So that's
and
what
we
we're at.
sometimes
So then we've stayed 3 years in a row. So that's 6, 12, 18. Then last year would have been, what are we on now? 6, 12, 18, I'm not good at maths. 24?
Yeah.
So 24, so by the 4th year, we've spent 24,000 Australian dollars in accommodation.
Yeah.
Now, I could have paid off my portion of this contract.
And bear in mind, none of those stays except for our one last year,
which is by renting points.
They were all values and moderates. And then last year we did renting DVC points.
Yeah.
So they were at deluxes, but we got it for a very
we got it for a value price, essentially, which you would know that if you watch my reviews of my my resorts, you'd know how much we paid and whatnot. But yeah, when we sat down, I thought of that, and I went, oh my god. I could have paid more than half of my portion of this contract that I eventually got off by now. And then my accommodation is free from that point onwards, essentially.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me and I went, maybe I would use this, especially because I was planning to come for the next 2 years, 2020 and definitely 2021. The 50th, hello, I'm there.
Yeah.
You all know we're going to try and get there some way. So that's when it really hit me and I was like, oh, maybe this is worth it for me. So we had a lovely 2-hour conversation with Jason. We held him up for the longest time. Normally they don't go for that long. Normally they say 60 to 90 minutes, but we knew so much knowledge and he was just a lovely person. Like, we just talked about our families, we talked about life in general. It was a great conversation. We did not feel pressured to buy, but when he literally turned around and said to us, like, girls, I don't understand why you're not members. And I went, either do I. Like, I know over 4 years I've paid, well, we together have paid 20.
We hadn't thought of it like that till we went to see him.
So we've paid 24 grand in 4 years for accommodation, probably sometimes more. Like, we were just averaging it out by like an average, you know, but it could have been more than that. And I just went, like, I guess it's scary having that figure thrown at you up front, but when you spend it over 4 years, you're like, that's fine.
Yeah.
And that was where that was the main concern we had to get past. There's gonna be a big number thrown at us, and we have to ignore it and just know over 50 years it's actually going to work out for us. So we had a lovely 2-hour conversation. He gave us, we told him what resorts we wanted. We went in and we said, we want Old Key West. If we want to consider this for the next few days, because we then made a booking with him again to go talk to him a few days later, mainly to check out Riviera, because Riviera was opening the day after our first meeting with him, our first tour. And so he booked us in, so we had a first meeting on Sunday. He's like, look, I'll book you on Tuesday to go check out Riviera. Obviously, he's heavily pushing Riviera. They're trying to get sales for it. I don't think it's doing as well. It isn't doing as well because there were massive discounts on it. We said, no, we want Old Key West. Give us Old Key West. So he printed us out Old Key West. He printed
he went and checked. He's like, I'll go check what we have available, because they have been buying back a lot of properties. So, like, the newer ones that they're selling, they actually have some of the older DVC contracts back because they've bought some back from people who have decided to sell their DVC contracts. So we didn't think they would have Old Key West, but he's like, look, I'll go check because we've been buying a lot back. And he went and checked, and he came in, he's like, good news, we can do that for you if you wanted to.
No, first he said bad news and good news. He said bad news, there is none.
There is no bad
good news. You can get all the resorts you wanted. So we wanted Old Key West. I wanted Polly, but I dropped it because I realized how expensive it was. So I was like, no, that's unrealistic. She wanted Wilderness. Copper Creek at Wilderness. And then we also got pricing for Riviera because that is the new one. That is the one that has the full 50 years still left. So we got that. All were available when we were there. So then we went back with our parents. We talked about it. We
for the next few days.
We did some figures. We figured it all out. And we went, okay, we think this is good, but we were still slightly terrified. We are signing up a lot of our money, even though I know I'm going to spend it. I'm going to keep going back to Disney World for the next 50 years of my life. Like, I would hope to take my kids there one day when I have kids, and that's what you have to think about. Yeah,
that's another thing he said.
Sorry, I've got a notepad and a highlighter in my hand.
If you know you're coming back, then he's like, you know, you already know you're going to pay for accommodation anyway.
He's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, you know you're, like, if you were like, we don't know if we'll come back, that's fair enough. Maybe it's not worth looking into, but considering we said to him, no, we already know we're coming back, he's like, well, if you're already going to pay for accommodation, like, like.
So we considered it for the next few days. We went to our tour at Riviera. We were still, poor Jason, I feel so bad for him. Love him, but like, man, like, we were there and I think he could just tell. In our minds, we were going, this is a lot of money, but in our hearts, we were like, we're DVC members already. And he could tell that. So we spent forever, but this is where we had to decide what home resort do we pick. We asked him all the questions. We asked him,
gave him hard
we literally said to him, if we just buy 100 points from you and then go buy points resale, tell me what is going to happen in this case scenario. How am I going to book? And he was very honest. He was like, you can do that if you want. He's like, we know of lots of people that do that, but he's like, these are the reasons why I wouldn't do that. And it was very good just to be blunt and brutally honest with him. So anyway, after a 5-hour, 6-hour,
we were there for
we were at the Riviera for the long, beautiful rooms, by the way, like beautiful rooms.
And
we
they
sat in there for
keep
6
you,
hours.
like,
but they give you coffee,
they give you, like, yeah,
food,
really nice coffee, yeah.
soft drink, water,
Yeah,
whatever
they
you
gave
wanted.
us, like, Rice Krispie treats
Yeah,
and stuff.
they just supply you with food because obviously you're about to
You're
probably
about to-
spend a lot of money.
yeah.
That was when we decided, yeah, we're doing that. This is taking 15 minutes to get to this point. You can see how long this video is going to be. Okay, so we then decided, yeah, we're doing it. We then had to figure out how many points we need. Now, when I say, yep, we're doing it, it's not just us. As I said, my sister and I went into this tour going, we're here for the free shit.
Yeah.
We don't care about really buying. We know it's not really for us. And it was my dad. He can watch this video and I don't care if he disagrees. It was him, I think, that wanted it the most. And he has come home and he is addicted to Disney. And it is hilarious because all the times he would be like, you're watching Disney again. And now he is loving it. So he was really like, I really like this idea. He went to Disney and he was like...
He's also an accountant too, so he did
the sums and he was like,
tour,
you girls are stupid.
Yeah, he did like a lot of thinking about it and like sums and all that and calculations.
So this is what's funny. We're in the parks just been like, yeah, free fast passes, got free money. They're back at the room figuring out numbers. So you can see it wasn't just us pushing this. So we went into contract 4 ways. So there's my parents, my mum, dad, and me and my sister. We are all on the contract.
On the deed.
On the deed is what it's called. We brought 250 points, which is a lot of points. So I did not expect to walk away with that many. Yeah. But when we figured out if all of us, we keep going around the same time of year, we would need that many to stay at our home resort. This is very important. Weeks. Buy at your home resort the amount you need for how long you stay for and what type of room you like. We like studios. We're fine with studios. So we got the amount of points we would need for 2 weeks at our home resort for the time of year we want, and that is how we got to 250.
We were considering like 230 or something because it wasn't, you can get, like, you don't have to get exact, like, there's no 50s. Increments. Yeah, like, sorry, my eyes are itchy. You can sort of get other amounts, and we were looking at how much we would exactly need for 2 weeks at Riviera and a studio.
It's really only about 230.
Yeah, but when we actually looked, because Riviera had discounts,
a big discount.
It was like pretty much the more points you buy, it was just taking
the
off
bigger
like
discount
more
you got.
And more money. So it actually.
So in case you're wondering what she's looking at, we've got
He printed off a sheet for us.
Here it is. He printed this off for us, and it pretty much said if you buy this many points, you're paying this how much per point. This is how much discount we're giving. These are your annual dues. That is essentially what we got told. So we locked in 250. We locked in 250 at $188 per point. Kicking ourselves because if we had it brought back in 2012, it was not this expensive. So this is quite sad. This is why I think everybody goes in and they buy and then they go, we should have done it sooner, and that's the reason why points are going up. We found out a week later after doing this, well, he told us on the day, it was going up by $10 the next week. So we already got a saving, yay, on top of the other savings we got. So, brutally honest, because this is what everybody wants to know. You're all about to know how much money we spent, not spent, got into debt. I did not spend it, I am paying it off. So, it cost $47,000 US.
Yeah,
we then got $4,500 of discounts because they're trying to sell Riviera. It's not doing too well. Got to remember, we went in wanting Old Key West. And we'll explain why I want Old Key West, and we'll explain why we went to this eventually, and you'll figure out why. So we got 4.5 off. So it came to $42,500 US dollars.
Yeah.
For my Australians watching, our dollar then went up when we got home and it got very exciting. We end up paying 64,000 Australian dollars for 250 points at Riviera. Now, 188 per point, that is just for Riviera. It changes depending on the resort you choose. A lot of people might not know this, so let me just quickly flip to the back. Oh, we looked at Boardwalk, because Dad liked Boardwalk. At Boardwalk, you're paying $200 per point, right? So it's more expensive there. At Old Key West, this is why we liked Old Key West, you were only paying $165 per point. So it depends on the home resort you choose to how much you pay per point.
Yeah.
And then Copper Creek, which is the other one, which is the most expensive one, it was $220 per point. So that's why we went Riviera, 188 per point. That is what we went with. We have split $64,000
4 ways.
4 ways. Yes. I'm literally marking things off, guys, so I'm really trying not to forget anything of you. So I've told you the cost in Australian.
Yeah.
You're
we
welcome.
apologise if this is long, but we did have a lot of people on Facebook
A lot of
asking
people
a lot
want to
of
know.
questions, and we kind of want to answer those questions for you because we know how
There's
hard
no
it was for us to
information.
get information as Australians. So yeah.
We want to make sure we get it across. So now you're wondering, guys, do you just walk around with 64 grand in your pocket? The answer
Yeah,
is no.
no.
Because if it was yes, I probably would have brought DVC a long time ago. I'd have my own house. I'd be living the dream. But no, we went into debt. So we got a loan. Now, you, great things, Australians, they cannot credit check you. You're an international guest. They cannot check your credit. They can't do a credit run on you and go, oh man, this person's in a whole lot of debt. Don't give it to them. They can't do that. If you're American, I'm sorry, they credit check you. But for us, it's just like automatically approved. Yeah, oh, you're going to spend $47,000 US dollars. Yep, done. Here it is. Have it. Without even checking that we can pay this off. Obviously,
If you don't,
there's going to be issues. But yeah, they don't check you. So that's something good to note for my fellow Aussies out there. Now, you can...
there's different ways you can finance.
There's different ways you can finance. So obviously you could just carry this cash around.
Yeah, just pay it.
I don't know, if you got, like for example, if you only got 100 points, it's only going to cost you 18,800. Some people might have a credit card limit of 50 grand, so you could just pay it on your credit card. If you really wanted to do that, like you could do that. You can also finance through Mickey Mouse. Now, Mickey Mouse finance is great and all, but it was like a 10% interest.
Yeah.
Which
even a bit over 10%.
is ridiculous. Don't know if that's normal in America, but in Australia we can get
Much lower.
So what we did is we paid the deposit, the bare minimum we had to when we were there.
The deposit and the closing cost. I think we had
Yes,
to pay.
yes, we had to pay.
And we just did that on a credit card
On a credit
that we
card.
had.
Yeah,
And
correct.
we just sort of, that was the unlucky thing, we sort of just had to deal with the
Conversion.
at that time because that was the minimum.
Nothing we could do. We're from a different country. Nothing you could do. So we just wore them. So we paid with a credit card. We paid deposit. We then came home to Australia, which he said this is what a lot of an international guests do. Came home to Australia and we sorted our own financing. Right? We had a loan. With this loan, we then, once the dollar got to a really good amount, it got to 70 cents, not down, it went up for us. Went to 70 cents and we decided, let's pay 70 cents. I'm not sure it's going to get any better than this, and that is how we paid 64,000. Like I said, that price could change. It was meant to be 42,000. Depending on what our dollar's doing, you could pay more or less. We ended up saving about 1,000 and a bit just by waiting for it to get to 70. So then with that loan that we got, we have fully paid off our Disney contract. To Disney, we have fully paid it off. I have not paid my loan off though, that I now owe an Australian bank.
Yeah.
So we've got a way smaller interest rate because in Australia we're very lucky. We can get really low interest rates, and now I'm paying that bank off. So I'm not rich. I don't have all this money laying around, and that is how I did it. So essentially I came back home, I got a loan on a way cheaper interest rate, and I'll be paying that off for the next few years. So I think, not good at maths, what's 64 divided by 4? It was like roughly like 17, 17,000 each is what we're paying. Everyone, that is how much you pay. I don't know how much more honest I can be with how much we paid and how we did it. That is exactly how we did it.
So that cost you the 64,000.
Oh, I'm gonna keep this
that up. That included the cost of the contract plus closing costs.
Yes, because it's sort of like
because it's a piece of real estate.
It's sort of, this is where it gets confusing. It is sort of a piece of real estate, but it's really just paying your holidays in advance. But in Australia, how we have stamp duty when you close on a house, you had to pay those fees for buying into this, which they called the closing costs, the closing fees. Something I want to remember. The 64,000 Australian isn't all we have to pay. Every year, we have to pay maintenance fees. We calculated all of this into our cost. Maintenance fees, let me look over here. Yeah, $8.31 per point for the 2019 and 2020 annual dues. They were only $8.31. This price can change. We've been told it doesn't normally go up, but only by a few cents. Like, it's very dramatic for it to go up by a whole dollar. Like, that's a really big jump. Ours shouldn't hopefully go up that much until it gets another major refurb because it's brand new. So we do pay a bit more than other resorts because it is brand new. All the fanciness, I guess, of it. And what these maintenance fees go towards is maintaining the resort, maintaining the gardens, maintaining the rooms, the paint, the everything. It's your maintenance fees. So we do have to pay roughly 2,077 US dollars, which is currently about 3,000 Australian dollars a year. We have calculated this into the cost.
Yeah. So when we figured it out, we got the closing costs, the cost of the contract, so that was the 64,000 plus for 50 years. If we paid these we have to pay the maintenance fees every year for 50 years, because that's how much our contract lasts for 50 years. We added those figures together, so all of our 50 years of maintenance fees plus the other sum money that we paid, and then we divided that by 50 years and how much we would spend, and that's how we worked out that it would still be cheaper for us.
I don't have those figures here, and I'm really sorry. Maybe I should have worked them out for you guys, but essentially what we discovered from doing that and then doing the $6,000 a year Australian for accommodation, which is what we are currently paying. This is not including inflation. Hotel rooms are probably going to keep going up. We discovered in 50 years, if we kept going every year, which there might be a time we're not going to go every year, but in the long run, we would save 100,000 Australian dollars. Now, when we saw that figure,
without inflation, that's without discounts and stuff that you get by being a member as well. So there's so much that you can't even include. You would save so much more than that. But 100 grand over 50 years.
That just shocked me.
That's like, okay,
shocking.
Why would you pay that much more? You know,
could you imagine if we kept going every year and then we essentially paid over $100,000 more than if we just had it brought into us? I don't even want to know what that number would have been if we had have brought in like 2012 or something. It would probably make me cry thinking about it. But yeah, this is how it works. I'm sorry if this is a bit over the place. I'm remembering things and going, oh, we need to mention this. So yeah, every year we do have maintenance fees. We have to pay them. Now you're probably wondering why we said 50 years. When the resort opens, they then give you 50 years of a contract. At 50 years, your contract's null and void. It's done. Done skis. You don't get any more. So Mickey can flip over. When we looked at Old Key West is a weird resort. It opened in 91. They gave people 50 years. They then, after a few years of opening, they gave people an extra, like, was it 20 or 30 years?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't quite remember how much, but they gave them like a few more years. So Old Key West currently, if you brought, it would end in 2057. So it doesn't. So if you buy at a resort that has been open for a few years, you don't get 50 years from when you sign up. You get however much is left on that resort. Nobody knows what's gonna happen when
they've never actually ended
a contract because Old Key West Old Key West would have been first, but then it got extended. They had those deals where people brought more. So yeah, that is why we keep saying we've got 50 years worth of accommodation, because that is how much we got when we got Riviera, because we got it from day dot, brand new open. So we got 50 years on our contract. So what have we got? We got Old Key West. It will expire 2057.
Boardwalk. So like this is the reason we didn't then consider Boardwalk, because we liked Boardwalk and the price was okay, but it expires in 2042. So you're not getting,
you don't get your full 50 years. So you can start seeing why we ended up just going with a Riviera. And then you've got Copper Creek, which is 2068, which is only a couple of years behind. 2 years less
than Riviera.
Yes, we've got 270 on Riviera.
Yeah,
a lot more expensive. So
that's why we went with Riviera.
That's why we went. That was one of the reasons why we went with Riviera. So let's keep talking about why we chose Riviera. So as I said, the main resort we actually wanted to buy was Old Key West. But then we did a little bit of research. Thank you to the DVC show and the Diz. There is this guy on the show who has just made people's lives amazingly easy. You can go look this up. You don't have to pay for this. This content is out there on the Diz boards. What he's done, he has told you from every month, that thunder, it's gonna rain. If the resort is available or not. Because for DVC members, we have to book 11 months out at our home resort. So we can only book 11 months out for Riviera. And then at 7 months out from when we want to get there, we can book any other resort. Now, at 7 months out, a lot of the popular resorts are gone. You're not probably going to get Poly, especially studios. You're probably not going to get Poly. You're probably not going to get Wilderness Lodge. You're not going to get Beach Club. You can see where this is going. However, the one resort that pretty much always has
Actually,
availability.
usually 2, but
There is 2, but I'm talking about the one resort that we
that
wanted.
we were considering, yeah.
Old Key West is always available. Like, it
Even
is.
at the 7-month.
Even I think at a month out, you could probably still get a like. It is just one of those resorts. It's just always available. I think maybe because it's so big, it's the first one. I don't quite know what the reasoning is, but it's always available. So we went. Well, why would we want to pick a resort that is always available at the 7-month mark as our home resort? Because your home resort you pick for the advantage of being able to book
you
it
don't get a home resort.
at 11 months.
They call it like you wouldn't really get a home resort benefit if
No.
you were buying at Old Key West. Unless you knew you really only wanted to stay at Old Key West, then that's fine.
Which we
but
sort of don't. We like experiencing
we like
other
to do
resorts.
other resorts. So it was better off for us to have Riviera because then we've got another resort that we know will always get because we can do it from 11 months, and then if we didn't want to stay there, at least we always know Old Key West
Old Key
should
West is
be
always available, and we like, or if we want to save points because it's a lot cheaper to stay at Old Key West, we know it's pretty much currently. You look at those charts. Just go look it up. What would you Google? Disport's DVC availability charts. Google that. It will come up. You can download for every single resort, and you can see this is what we did, and this is when we went. Also, apart from the fact we got more years at Riviera, we went. Well, if Old Key West is always available, like, why would you want that as your home resort? So that is so, because we're always happy to stay at Old Key West is what we decided. We're like, we'll happily stay at Old Key West for the rest of our lives. Not saying that we will. We can get other resorts. It is a possibility. It happens. But you have to go in your head going, my home resort might be the only place I ever get to stay at, and we were happy for that to be Old Key West. So this is why I went Riviera, because that's our home resort. But if we were like at 7 months, we're like, you know what, we don't want to pay this much. Let's just go stay at Old Key West and save some points, or stay at Old Key West and maybe we can get a 1-bedroom because it's way cheaper. That's why I went Riviera. So this is all very confusing information. I am well aware. I hope it's making sense to some people, but this is our thought process. Anyway, we've sort of explained why in the long run we're saving 100,000 Australian dollars, not including inflation, which is just insane.
When we thought about, we were talking to Jason and we didn't realize, like we did realize but we didn't. So when we went in 2016, we stayed at Riverside. Just an example, Riverside was about what, 180, 200 and something.
Yeah, it was only like 180 or maybe 200 max.
You know, it was around that mark.
US dollars.
Yeah, sorry, this is all US. And then when we looked at going in 2019, it was about $350 US a night for the time of year that we were going, and we were like,
that's inflation.
That's what we would never pay that
Never.
for a moderate, like especially a moderate.
Never.
Like,
as much as I loved it, never.
Yeah, we were like, that's insane. So if prices kept increasing like that, we would never be able to like keep up with it. Like it.
No.
When we thought about it like that, we're like, just think like we're locked in at a set price for 50 years, pretty much. That's like how it's working.
Exactly. Something else. This is the part that my parents really liked. The idea of now. There are probably people out there who are going to explain it better. We're newbies. We've never done it. We've never booked it. We haven't looked into it too much, but you can stay anywhere in the world. You're not locked into the DVC resorts at Disney World. The DVC resorts at Disney World. We can go stay in Fiji. I can go stay up the road, 2 hours, like 4 hours drive, sorry, and go stay up there. I can use my points for Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, New Zealand, Thailand, China. Let's go to Europe. While we're at it, now I'm in Canada, South America. Do you see what I mean? Our points can be used anywhere. Now, one thing I do know, you get the best bang for your buck by using your points at a DVC resort, not just a Disney DVC resort. That is where you do pay a bit more, but that is an option that I don't think Australians realise.
So if we couldn't afford to fly all the way to America one year, or we didn't want to,
we didn't want to go to Disney.
This year we don't really want to do a big trip, we could just either, we can bank our points, which is a good bonus, and do a bigger trip another time. Or we could just be like, let's just do something local. Or if we had to, make a trip somewhere in Australia to Sydney or something like that, we have accommodation set. Like you can use it that way.
Or we can have a family holiday just in Thailand, Vietnam.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not the best use of your points, but like I think it's 80 points for the week. Maybe a bit more,
Yeah.
could be about 100 for a week at Fiji. I'm like, yeah, let's go. Let's go to Fiji. So I don't think people
and that would
realize.
be for like 4 people. So
Yeah, so you can use your points anywhere in the world. So they're actually connected with the Wynnum group, the Wynnum timeshare. It's called RCI. Don't know what it stands
there's other
for.
companies too, not just Wynnum, but that's one of the
well-known
ones.
that's actually connected to Disney. So these hotels can technically pull out at any time, I believe. Obviously, if the
I
contract
think it does change.
ends, but we have that option. You also have the option to use your points on Disney Cruise Line. Wouldn't recommend it. Apparently, it's very
it's a bad use of your
it's
points.
a very bad use of your points, but hey ho, if you want to, you go for gold, mate. You can. You can also use your points for Adventures by Disney. Once again, probably the worst use of your points because it is extremely expensive, but you can if you wanted to. You can. So you can see why my parents went. Wait a second.
It's not just going to Disney.
We're not just going to Disney. We can use this for anywhere, and also because we're in Australia, we could just go to Aulani. It's a great flight. It's only halfway to America, so it's not that far from us. We can get really cheap flights. This is another reason why I decided to buy in, because I think I knew. Oh, my dog's having a bad dream. I don't even know. Did I know that you could stay at other places? I think I vaguely did, but I didn't.
We did, but I
didn't realize the size of how many there were.
And I think we thought like, there probably would be like 1 or 2 places in Australia or near Australia, so we didn't think it was worth it. But then when we actually looked up the list, it's like there's so many places in it. Like,
and like I said, there's probably heaps of forums, everything. Like, so the Disboard is a great place to go. So that's something to consider, which I don't think a lot of people do. You can also, this is a good one for Australians, not just anywhere in the world. Of course, Disney is going to let you use your points at other Disney resorts. So Aussies, if you're going to Tokyo, you can use your points for the Disney Tokyo resorts. If you're going to China, same thing. You're going to Paris, same thing there. And not just the non-Disney resorts. I'm talking the Disney resorts.
Like the expensive Disney resorts.
You are paying, like there's a lot of points for it. Like I said, it's not the best use of your points. They're not DVC resorts. But, hell, you already have the accommodation. Do you really care? At the end of the day, once you've paid off your contract, you're essentially looking at free accommodation, apart from your maintenance fees. But you get what I mean. It's a very low price that you're paying. So, you can do that too. So, I know a lot of the Aussies, we don't just go to America, which you can also get Disneyland, though I heard it's incredibly hard to get into.
I think they've actually stopped putting people on the wait list.
No, I mean like to even rent to stay there. I don't know how necessarily easy it is to get accommodation.
I think that's one of the ones where it's like you sort of have to own it to be able to
I know people
it,
can get there. There'll be tons of you that you can, but you can use it for Disneyland. But Aussies, I know a lot of us go to Tokyo, we'll go to China because they're our closest Disney parks. If you did buy DVC, you could use your points to stay at the Disney resorts there. So that is something to consider if you've ever thought about this and you didn't know this. Use year, we wanted to briefly bring this up. Maybe you can explain what a use year is.
I'll try and be really brief.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a drink of water, by the way.
So your DVC use year, so when you buy a contract, you'll be assigned a use year. Now I believe if you don't ask, I don't know if they will offer you one.
It's a universal cup, I'm sorry.
I don't know if they'll just offer you one or if they do sit down and be like, this would be the best one for you. I straight up knew what use years were, but I wanted to get an opinion from Jason on from what time of year we travel because this is important. So you need to make sure that you look at what is the, like you can obviously not, you can travel at other times of year, but especially for us, we like to go around December because I'm going to be a teacher. So for me, where I live, like where I'll get majority of my holidays, it'll be like that December, January time of year in Australia. That's our big school holidays that we get. So that's what we looked at. So I said to Jason, what use year should I get if that's when we're planning to go? And he said to us, he said of September, October use year, either one of those would be fine. So he offered us September use year. Now what that means is, our September use means at the first day of, so your use year is the first day of that month. So since it's September, on the 1st of that September, they also call it your Disney birthday. So our Disney birthday, our Disney birthday is September 1st. And what that means is, that is when your new allotment of points for that year will, when you
appear.
Get them.
They're already sorted there. I'll explain in a second, but that's when they appear.
Yeah. So our 2020 DV's 250 points, because we get those 250 points every single year.
Yeah, I don't know if we've mentioned that. You get them every year. It's not just a one-off.
You're not paying for them one-off.
Yeah.
So you get them every single year for 50 years. You get 250 points. We will get our new fresh amount of points on September 1st. They will appear.
Yep.
It's a bit confusing though, because when you go online to book stuff, it will already if you're planning on booking past your use year, like, so if we were planning on booking in October for this year, for example, it would show you that you have your 2020, because it knows by that time
you're going to be using those points.
You would have got those points.
Yeah.
So it'll show you if you have any points from previous years. So like, we bought last year, but we weren't going to have a holiday between December when we bought our contract and September, because that's the thing, the other points will run out at your use year as well. So 2019's points will run out in September for us, but we can do a great thing, which is banking them. So that's what we did. So we banked them, and there's a certain date that you have to bank them by.
I'm gonna be like real childish here. May, June, July, August. So it must be 5 months, because we had to bank them maybe by the end of April, so maybe 4 months. We had to bank our 2019 points 4 months out. If you don't bank them, you then have to use them by September,
or you lose them.
So we banked our 2019. We've put them into 2020. So from September 1st, 2020, we get 500 points.
Yeah. So at the moment we have our 250 from last year. But yeah, by September we will then have 500.
We'll have 250 from that year, 500.
Yeah.
Now, something I want to mention while we're talking about this, if you want to go on a big vacation and you know, I'm not going in 2021. So for example, us, hey, we're not going in 2021, screw it, let's stay in like 2 bedrooms, let's get some really good places, we're going to spend a lot of points. Oh crap, we need more than the 500 that we've already banked. We can borrow our 250 from 2021, and I can pull them back into 2020. So now I have 750 points. So you have this option.
Up to 3 years at one time. So you can't. So in 2020,
just keep borrowing.
I can't also grab 2022 points.
Yeah.
And you also can't bank. So in 2021, I can't keep banking my 2019 points, because they sort of do it for like, to be fair.
I think it's 2 or 3 years I'll hold bank your points for, then you lose them.
Well, no, you can bank it for a year, but you can only ever have up to 3 years amount of points at one time.
There you go.
So you can have your previous year, your current year, and your future year all at one time.
All at once. So I remember a lot of Aussies who are, thank you for commenting by the way, who are already DVC members.
Yeah,
this is how they did it. They said they only have 100 points, and what they do is they'll bank. They'll keep this year, so now we're on 200, and they'll borrow from the year before. So now they have 300 points, and they just go back to Disney every 3 years. And it works. It works if that's what you want to do. So
it really depends.
That's how banking and borrowing, in a very short explanation, works.
Yeah, how much you're going to travel. So because we have been traveling every year for the last few years and want to keep going back for the next few years, for us, we wanted to make sure we had enough points every year, just in case. But yeah, like that's a good idea. If you're only going to come back every 2nd or 3rd year,
you buy less points,
you
because
buy
you're
less
going to bank
points
them.
And use it that way.
Yeah. Now let's briefly mention discounts. There are a ton of discounts you get being a DVC member. Unfortunately, they have taken away the annual pass discount they used to give.
No, you still get a discount. They used to do, you got like free park tickets with your...
I think sometimes they used to give like a big discount, but they don't offer that anymore.
No, but they do still on select.
So there's a slight discount.
On select annual passes.
Not that this is for us, but for Americans, it's probably more useful for you guys maybe to have an annual pass. I still will solemnly swear by, I can buy through Attractions Ticket Direct. I actually think they've changed their name. But anyway, I'll continue buying through them because that's the best deal for us. But that's the one thing that I know you've lost out on. So discounts.
Well, yeah, so your membership benefits, which include discounts you get, they can be taken away. They can also add extra benefits for you.
At any time.
Yeah, so the benefits can always change. You sign a contract saying
I keep thinking there's more stuff. This video's gonna go forever. Okay, let's be quick. Discounts. The main ones that were like to us was we get 10% off majority table service restaurants. Some gave us 15.
Yay.
Woo! Like Via Napoli, I think gave us 15. And the big one, like I'm wearing something right now. Disney merch. Disney merch is 20% off. 20% off. I'm gonna put it out there. We joined on
so much on Spirit jerseys. Oh my
we
God.
joined on a Tuesday. We were leaving 3 a.m. Saturday morning. So we had 3 days of using our DVC discount,
Membership.
right? We saved over $300 US just in savings. I'm not talking yet, like adding up the 20, the 30 that we saved,
So we got our
saved over
receipts, and
300.
every time we got a discount, we added up all of our discounts to see how much money we saved, and it was
saved that much.
Close to 600
Now,
Australian
I don't
dollars.
recommend you obviously buying DVC just for the discounts.
Yeah.
But for Australians who we can't buy merchandise in Australia, there's no Shop Disney, there's no Disney stores. So if we go overseas, we are more likely to buy a lot of merch. That is something to consider. You are going to get 20% off your merch. Now there are lots of other discounts. You get discounts on dessert parties.
Yeah.
You get discounts on tours.
At the spa, we recently learned. So like if
Oh,
you
I
go
wanna
to,
try the spa.
they have a spa at
Like a massage and facials and all that.
yeah,
sort of stuff.
sorry, not like a hot tub
Not
spa,
hot
but
tub,
like like a day spa type thing. They have one at
I'm sorry.
Grand Floridian, Saratoga, and I believe they opened one at like Yacht and Beach. So you can use, I think we get 20 to 25% off spa services. So if we want to get a massage on our vacation or get our nails done or things like that, we will get a discount
money off that.
on that.
So there are lots of discounts. You can go to the DVC website and look up the big list.
I don't think you have to be a member to look at
No, I don't think you do. But there is so much you do get discounts for, and like I said, that's not considered. The main thing, we haven't talked about this so much. As I said, I briefly mentioned right in the beginning, we went up to Jason and we said, look, we're thinking about buying 100 points from you just so we're DVC members officially, and then buying the rest resale. And the reason we turned away from that was we would have saved money, yes, buying resale, but it was just easier to have all of our points in the one contract.
Yeah.
Once you have multiple contracts, you've got to start remembering your use years for every single one. You can only combine contracts at 7 months if you have 2 different resorts. If you have the same home resort, can you combine, or is it still only 7 months? These are all things that are confusing.
I think if you have the same, if you have 2 separate contracts, but it's both for like Copper Creek, for
You can
example,
use
at
them
11
11
months,
months?
you can combine them, I'm fairly sure.
So these are all the things, because we were like, oh, we'll just buy 100 at the Riviera, but then we'll buy heaps at Old Key West resale.
Cheaper,
But then we realised, well, at 11 months out, we can't combine our points together. And being from Australia, we're more likely to book we're booking flights at 11 months. That's when good deals come out. So we are 100% going to Disney World 11 months. So we want our accommodation locked in.
The other thing to note then, it's where it starts getting messy, is if we bought some points direct and some not, there are limitations to how you can use your points. So we bought, for example, say we bought 100 at Riviera and then 100 resale somewhere else. We don't actually really have 200, we can't use 200 points at Riviera because
There's
you can't
restrictions on it.
use your points that you bought resale at Riviera.
At new DVC resorts is what they're
So
saying.
any
So
future
from
resorts,
Riviera onwards, so we know Riviera, Reflections, and we know Disneyland's now getting a DVC tower. If you buy resale,
you can't
unless
stay
you buy resale at Riviera, but then you can only use it at Riviera, which is why a lot of people aren't buying Riviera. There is so much, guys. There is so many details. Like this video could honestly
you
go
have
for
to
5
really
hours.
think about if it's worth doing
If
the
it's worth
resale,
it.
because
And
you do save a lot of money, but there are just a lot of restrictions. So
there are, and I think it's really helpful for Americans, but I think for international, I think maybe you're just better getting the direct. Just, it's all through Disney, and I think it's just a lot easier. When we started looking into it, I'm like, this is getting too confusing, like remembering all these dates of when I have to bank points if I have 2 different contracts, and I can't combine my points at 11 months. I have to wait now for 7 months out. So it just becomes a lot. So I just wanted to briefly mention that, but if you want more videos about this, leave it down below. If there's any topic we've mentioned so far you just want a whole video about, leave it down below, because we could probably talk a solid 15-20 minutes about one topic. Another thing, if you buy direct, not that it's like a big thing, and they can take them away at any time, but I want to go to one. They have Moonlight Magic events. These events are just for DVC members. Unfortunately, they're never on when I'm more likely to go, which is December.
Maybe one year, we have 50 years. So,
maybe 1 year I'll finally get to one. But they're like full-on events where food is included, there are rare characters, you get the park to yourself, there's special fireworks. We all know I'm a fireworks person.
And it's free for members. So
only a certain amount. There's only a certain amount of tickets sold.
Yeah, so it's not, when they sell tickets, you don't actually pay for it, but you have to be
Yes.
in like a virtual line and book online
Correct.
to get a ticket.
Yes.
And then they will shut a whole theme park at Disney, or they do it at Disneyland as well. They will shut the whole park down just for DVC members, and you get you get food included. So this is all free. You just go to the park. It's limited people there. They put special fireworks.
It's like
on,
after hours, but
special
just for
characters.
DVC members.
Like they do all these really special things.
So I want to go to one day because like now I can. So I'm like, oh my god, I need to go to Moonlight Magic. And I've heard they're very, very good events. I've never heard somebody go to one as a DVC member and be like, that was the worst thing of my life. I've never heard that. This is not a reason to buy DVC though, guys. Just put it out there, but this is what I'm excited about because now I'm a member. I don't know, she knows more than I do in this respect, but you get into Epcot. Epcot has a DVC lounge. If you buy resale, can you get in there?
Nope.
There you go.
You do not get into the lounges.
so-
So all the benefits.
It is really
You don't
cool.
get discounts either. So if you buy resale, you don't get those food merchandise discounts. You don't get the lounge.
Are you sure you don't get them?
Nope, don't get them.
What?
That's
I
why
thought
you
did.
have to
I thought you got
consider.
your card still. And
No, you get a different card. That's how they know
that's
you
how they
bought
changed.
resale.
Okay, so they have
Yeah.
fully. Oh man,
So you don't
this
get
is
discounts. You can't.
because
stay
she was
in
like,
the-
we're buying direct. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
you've done a bit more research than I
You
have. I
can't
believe you.
go into the lounges. You can't go to Moonlight Magic because they're only for direct DVC members who buy from Disney. So Disney,
So just like-
it used to be where
You could.
people who bought resale, they
People
had
who brought,
before
I'm going to say
2016.
2016. Before 2016, they're still
Yeah.
considered fully fledged DVC members, even though they brought resale.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there's a whole lounge at Epcot you can get into. There's free drinks up there, aircon. It was great. We went to sit up there for an hour, and my dad's getting old. He enjoyed it for the fact he could just sit down. I enjoyed it for the fact that
And
I
they
could
have,
sit
like,
down in
tablets
the
that you
aircon.
can
Yeah,
use.
free. Oh, there's free internet everywhere, but there's tablets you can use. I was
Yeah.
playing like games. There's even full like gaming consoles. Like I said, these are all not reasons to buy DVC, but if you do, these are some of the things, like a very small amount of the things you get. So we went and checked that out. That was really cool. It was just good to get free soft drink out of Disney because you know how expensive that is in parks. Or even
Yeah.
free water, like bottled water, you're like, yep, I got something for free. Like I haven't just
Yeah.
paid 64,000 Australian dollars for it, but you know, like I felt like I got it for free, and
You
that
also
is
get a free backpack.
that is all that matters. You did get a free
When you
backpack,
sign up.
which is in my haul, which is going to come out. The other place which I loved, which you can tell in like the 3 days we were DVC members, we're like, let's do everything
Let's do
we
as many
can.
things we can.
We went to the top of Bay Lake Tower,
Yeah.
the Contemporary Resort. You can only get up there if you're a DVC member or you know a DVC member, because like if she goes, you can take
I
four
can take
people.
like 4, yeah.
And if I go, I can take 4 people, so I can take people up there. But only DVC members can get up there. It is this really cute little bar area. You can get full meals, not just like snacky meals. You can get
Yeah.
full meals up there. And you just have the whole outside on the top of the Contemporary. The
Yeah,
view
amazing
for the
view.
fireworks, as a fireworks person, oh mate, I was just
like just the view of Magic Kingdom, even like Space Mountain's like right there, and you can see the castle and like
yeah, so that was
it's
another
really cool.
that was another thing. Like I said, I'm gonna keep saying this, you don't buy DVC for these reasons, but these are the
So
things.
these are just added bonuses that you get
yeah, so
if you buy direct.
who should look at buying DVC?
Now this is important.
This is what Jason straight up said to us. He was, I love Jason.
Like he didn't
Bless
force
Jason.
us to buy, but he was
No.
like, "Girls, it's
You've been coming
killing
every
me
year."
that you're not DVC members." Like,
Pretty much. This is me looking at Aussies, because I'm not saying Americans can go more often, but you can. You have shorter flights, and so
Yeah.
you can just go for 3 or 4 days. We go for a long amount of time. It's 30 hours for us to get there. A bit less, but you know what I mean. He pretty much turned around and said, honestly, girls, if you said to me you don't come at least every 3 years, DVC is not worth it for you. So if you know you don't go to Disney at least every 2 to 3 years, he said
Yeah.
3 years, but like 2 to 3 years, don't look.
Don't,
It's not
yeah.
for you. But if you go every 2 years, or you constantly go every 3 years, or you go
well, you're like
every
us, who's
year,
been going every year for.
I honestly
us.
think you're gonna make a savings. Like I said, we
Yeah.
calculated out, and not including inflation, not including all these benefits, discounts, we're saving 100,000 Australian dollars in over
Just
50
on
years.
accommodation.
Just on accommodation alone, not including all the benefits we get. Like for example, I'm really excited to maybe book to do a Christmas tour and get like 15 or 20% off?
20% off
20%
tours,
off
yeah,
tours. Oh my
dessert
god.
parties and
Dessert,
stuff.
I've
so-
done dessert parties. I'm like, oh my god, doing it now because I'm getting like 20% off. Yeah. If you're like us that go all the time, all these things are going to start adding up, and it's probably actually going to be worth it for you. So this is why we decided to buy.
Yeah.
This is why we became DVC members. We figured it out and we went, yep,
Yeah.
we actually would have saved a whole lot of money, and I could have paid my contract off by now.
And that
which
was the thing.
depressing.
We always thought that the maintenance fees, we thought, yeah, okay, the one-off big cost you pay, it's a lot of money, but it might be worth it. You know, but then we forgot, like, you have to pay these maintenance fees, and that still seems ridiculous that you're still paying a few grand every year.
And you might not go.
Yeah, but when you add all of that up for 50 years and still add it on to what you're paying, you actually then realize that you're still saving.
Yeah, you would
Like-
still. I think you would still make a saving. Obviously, if you go continuously.
And
If
the
you
other
don't go,
good
it's
thing
not for
is,
you.
generally with contracts, like, I'm not 100% sure, but I can pretty much guarantee that if you bought a contract and then, you know, you used it for maybe 10 years and you wanted to sell it, you will probably make a profit. Most people, like Jason was saying, he's like, most people have not lost money buying into DVC.
Or you're not going to lose that much, because if you take away how much accommodation you've got in that time, you're not going to really lose
And generally, price per point is just going up.
Well, it
It's
already
not-
did. It went up $10 a week
Yeah.
after we left. I'm now going to get into I know, right? How long is this going on for? I'm going to get into these questions. A lot of them we've answered. This is something I asked my dad. My dad's an accountant. I don't know if we've got this wrong.
We're going to. Sorry.
I'm fully trusting him, but I will double check when it comes to tax time. It's not tax time right now though, so I don't have to care. But a lot of Aussies wanted to know, how does it impact Aussie tax and GST? Now, my dad, being an accountant for 40 years, he said, you're not getting an income from it. And I said, well, no, you're not. So it's not like you're owning investment properties, because we're not making money out of this. There is no money to be made. It's just like we're prepaying our holidays up front. Yes, we have 0.03% in Riviera,
We own.
but they're not giving us money back every year. We're paying them money every year. So when my dad, he was like, no, I honestly don't believe you would add this.
Claim an income.
You can't claim an income because there's no.
We're just
you're not
pretty much
making
paying
money
for vacations for.
Yeah. Now I could be wrong. Like, he could be wrong. I'm just going.
We will probably
I'm
check
going
at
for
tax time, because Dad said he has other, like, tax.
Yes,
people.
he'll double
He'll double
check.
check with that sort of stuff.
But that's how we're taking
But-
it. Now, if we rented our DVC points and
Made
we made money, then this could be an issue. We might have to claim it as income tax. Don't know how that figures out. At this point in time, though, we're not looking at renting because we're too excited to keep going back.
But it is an option if you're not going to go, and you're getting to a point where you can't bank your points anymore and you don't want to lose them. You can make money by renting, like what we did last year, where we could rent our points to someone who's not DVC, and it gives them a chance to stay at DVC. We cover our maintenance costs, probably
And
even make a bit more money, and they get like a discounted rate. So we could do that. But yeah, so like we said, if we ever did that, we would then have to look at how that will affect our tax.
How that works,
But-
and how that works between 4 people as well, because
because we're all on the
all
deed,
on
so when it
separate
comes to
taxes.
tax, it
So
would be a bit hard.
at the moment, the way we understand it, when my dad understands it, and when it comes to tax time, we will double check. We are not making money from having this. It's not even an investment.
It's
There's no money to be made. It's just like we're paid. So I don't even know if GST, if that counts,
Well,
because
see, GST is a tax when you purchase something in Australia, but we purchase something.
yeah, but I know
So-
you're meant to pay GST on stuff when you come back, but it's really weird because it's not a tangible item. Like we don't have it. But in saying that, like even if we book for that, like I said, that accommodation up in Port Douglas, at Cairns or whatnot, it's 80 points for the week, but I think we still have to pay taxes. Like we have to pay a small amount. I'm fairly sure you don't just get.
Yeah, you might.
You don't just get it. You got to pay like a really small. So we don't believe at this point in time. We don't believe. If you're an Australian who has DVC and you know it does affect your tax, please let us down. Please comment down below, because a lot of people are very interested in this. But the way my dad believed it to be, like I said, he's been an accountant for 40 years, and when he said it to me, Ali, you making money off this? And I went, no, I'm just spending a lot of money. He said, well then how is it income? And I went, oh yeah, it's not an investment property. It's not like I'm renting it out. It's not like a house that I brought and then I rented out. That's income tax.
Yeah.
It's not. So that's how, like I said, we could be wrong. Did I buy direct? Yes, I bought direct. We've explained why we bought direct.
And when we say direct, meaning we bought it straight from Disney, not from a third party
Correct.
resale
Oh,
company.
something we have to put in here. Oh, thank God, thank God, thank God. Australians, here's my highlighter. I'm pointing at you. You can only buy Disney Vacation Club by being in America
Yeah.
and literally being at either Disneyland, because I'm sure they have a thing
You
there.
can do it on the cruise line too.
You do it on a cruise line and only at Disney World. That is all we can do. Americans can actually do it away from Disney World. They just call them and whatnot, and they can sort it out that way. That's with Disney.
I believe if we wanted to buy resale, we could do that from Australia because we're just contacting a third party.
An agency, a company.
They can deal with international, but with Disney, you actually have to physically be in, like she said, Disneyland, Disney World, or on a Disney cruise because they need your passports. You're signing full-on contracts. You have to be there. You're being put on a deed. So you actually have to be in America or on a cruise.
Yeah.
To do that.
Something to consider if you're Aussie and now you've looked at this video and for some really random reason I've really inspired you to buy DVC. We can only do it in America, so book a trip to America, guys, if that's what you really want. How much did it cost? We've already told you, 64,000 Australian dollars. How do we finance it? Banks in Australia, I'm paying them back. That is how we financed it. We came back and got a loan here in Australia. How does it work? I think we've sort of covered how it works, but there is way more we could get into, so like I said, please comment below and let us know. But essentially we have 250 points a year. Michaela, let's pick up the point chart.
For 50 years.
Just look at Polly, who cares? That's what we're looking at. So if we wanted to stay for a week from December 1st to the 14th, a week in a deluxe studio at the Poly, it's 118 points. Now you see how the point system works. It's different.
Whereas
nightly rate,
Old
everything.
Key West, it's in the 70s.
It's in the
so
70s.
that's where you see like your points.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, your points are cheaper. So obviously the more like expensive resorts, if you were paying cash,
you're using more points.
Cost them more points.
Yeah,
to
like
stay there.
Riviera is actually a lot of points. That's why we had to buy 250. How do you do? People want to know how you do the tour. I've already explained that and how long it takes. You just got to look for those tour guides that are just hanging around the place. Go talk to them.
Good thing
You're in there for about 60-90 minutes.
They will organise where you want to be picked up from. So if you're going to be at a park and then you want to be picked up to take to your tour, they'll pick you up in the park. If you're going to be at your hotel, they'll pick you up from your hotel. And then after your tour, they will drop you wherever you want. So they will drop you
in
back.
Disney property, obviously.
Yeah, they'll drop you back at a theme park. They'll drop you at a hotel. Yeah, so you...
and there's something else that I did get asked. Can you rent points directly from a DVC member? The answer is yes. My stipulation to that is, even if it's your best friend, you can't trust people. Let's just put it this way. You can't trust people. I would be more likely to go through an agency or a company to rent points off, because you have a binding contract that goes into place between you and the owner. Whereas if you just like have a conversation with someone online and be like, oh yeah, can I use your points? And they're like, yeah, just pay me this much. And then you pay it to them.
you're really trusting that person.
You are really trusting that person. So I would always tell people to go through a company just to make sure you're fully locked in case anything happens. Not that I'm saying your friend or your family's going to do that to you, but it's just, you're just saving your butt. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, and but in saying that, like, say if we wanted to, if someone in our family said, hey, if you aren't using your points this year, can we go and we'll pay? And we're like, yeah, sure. You actually can do that. So you don't have to be staying there. You can let family and friends use your points. You just book it in their name.
Yep.
That's perfectly fine. So just so people know, it's like we don't have to be on the booking for it to work. We can rent it out. We can book it for other family members or friends or whatever.
Yeah.
That's completely.
And I'm going to have a whole video in about a few weeks all about how we rented points, how renting works, and that will go more into that. So I think we've now talked for the longest time we've ever talked for, but I really hope we've helped answer some questions. I've tried to remember everything.
There's a lot.
There is a lot. We are still learning. Like, there are still things that, okay, even my dog's getting annoyed with how much we've been talking. She's like, I'm out. You want to leave? Oh, that's a bit rude. Oh, okay. Bye. It's not aircon out there. Anyway, yeah, we talked a lot, but I really hope we've helped some people. I hope I've helped those Aussies who are just really confused how we did it. That's how we did it. We're not rich. No. We now owe a lot of money. I was trying to save for a house, but that's not happening. But we know from my habits, I'm a travel person. So for me, this is worth it for now instead of saving for a house. So that's how we did it. That's we're DVC members. This is the longest video ever to explain that we became DVC members. Essentially, it was more so like I was really highly emotional. But Jason was like, welcome home, shook my hand, and I started bawling.
Yeah, and then I started crying because she was crying. It was so fun. He was like laughing.
He was like, you're the first people to actually cry.
He's like, you guys are like in my
top 5
top 5 favorite like
families
that I've ever been a guide for, like, and he's so lovely. Like, we love Jason.
He couldn't believe we cried, but I was just
Yeah.
like, when he said welcome home, I'm like, it actually is home now, even though I
Yeah.
owe you a lot of money. Like,
Yeah, it was cool.
It was very
And
nice.
it was so funny at the meeting. We kept like asking him questions, and we'd be like, because I think we didn't want to get our hopes up that we were going to buy before we sorted everything out. So we would ask him things, and I would be like, okay, so if we became DVC members, because I wasn't ready to say like,
We're going to become a DVC member.
To assume that I was going to be one. So I'm like, if I became and he's like, why do you keep saying if?
He's like, you guys are pretty dead solid. You're becoming members.
He's like, what do you mean?
Jason was amazing. I wish I could somehow tag. Oh my god! Would you just calm down? I wish I could somehow tag Jason, or be like, everybody contact Jason. But I don't know if Jason wants to get bombarded with Australians going like, give us DVC Jason. But he was amazing. I loved Jason. I'm so happy we got him. Oh, okay, welcome back. I'm so happy we got him that day. Yeah, he was great. Even when we came back, we had a slight little issue, and we called him, and he was like, oh no, I'm gonna sort that out right away from you. Like, hung up, sorted out, and came back to us and said it's all fixed.
And he gave us like his contact details, so if we ever need to, we can email, call him,
or
stuff
if we
like
want to buy
that.
more points, because we start becoming like those people who start apparently have add-on-itis. At this point in my life, I don't see that happening because I owe a lot of money. I'm like, I'm in debt. So yeah, that's how we brought DVC. Yay. The longest way to go about it ever. We're DVC members. It happened.
It's crazy to think that we'll be in our 70s. We will be in our 70s.
I'm gonna
so
be
like,
old.
she'll be like almost 80, and I'll be like in my early 70s when this
contract ends.
So it's like for the rest of our life.
I'm like, oh my, when you were like that, I was like, oh
you're
my
like,
god, I'm gonna be
holy
70 something when this contract ends.
like that's
obviously my
crazy.
parents are like, we're gonna be dead. but
they also did it thinking like it would be nice to like pass on.
It
would be
So like I said, if there is a specific topic you really want me to just do a whole video about, please leave a comment below. If you've got through this entire video, congratulations. I wish I could reach through and like give you an internet cookie. Here, have a fake cookie. Certificate of participation for watching. I just really wanted to help. There are a lot of Aussies confused. We used to be confused.
Ask questions.
So I really hope I've helped those people, and I'm sorry for making you sit through this. But like I said, leave the comment below. Let's have a conversation. If you want more videos, you want to know more, even if you want to know stuff that I don't know about, maybe I'll research and try and find out some information for you. More than happy to do that, because there's more stuff I know I have to learn. So yeah, leave a comment below, let me know, and as always, be sure to like this video if you like it, and I will see you next time in my next video, and thank you so much for watching. It has gone forever. Alright, bye guys.
Bye.
Whew, that's a long one.